Well, I haven't been filming just because I'm afraid of getting my phone wet. It's been raining today. And we are hounding in Indian Creek, which is kind of a local spot we don't go to often just because it's always so busy. But yeah, we're just walking along the wash here. Main objective for today is Fairburn Agates, possible ammonite fossils. But anyway, keep walking here. It's finally kind of misting instead of raining. All right, guys. This was just discovered in the wash here. Big old tadpole. Go ahead and pluck that guy, Nick. Freaking gem. Good God.
That bodes well, though.
Wow. And once again, Mr. Hauser with the pluck of the day. How do you feel about that guy?
I'm pretty happy. It's crazy. I wasn't expecting to see that out here.
Is there anything on the other side of it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Good.
All right, should I pluck it? Just found this guy. We found kind of the last big island that we could walk around for the day, and decided we would walk this way on one side of it and back on the other. And got down here and decided we'd turn around. Coming back, I spotted this, and here we go. Oh, it's so dirty. Is that all?
Let's get her washed.
Is that all sign though? Like.
Let's get it washed. Right here.
Heck yeah. I'm gonna have to clean it better. But,
Ooh,
jeez.
good one. Wow.
Wow.
All right.
There was just a conversation about whether we walk this island one more time while there's still light. And literally the second we turn around.
Little guy.
That guy there.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's got a great face on the other side.
Nice. Gem, dude.
Wow.
Kept almost nothing today.
How to end a rock hunt. Well, friends, just hit the road for day 5 of this rock hounding adventure, and what a beautiful sunrise. Well, good morning. Sorry, I got to kind of concentrate on what I'm doing. We are walking down the road here for day 2 at Indian Creek, since we had so much success yesterday. Much nicer weather forecast today. The rain, this kind of steady rain that we got all day yesterday is gone. There is some fog this morning. We actually stopped a couple times to take pictures of different places in the fog. And today we're just going to drop down to the creek where it intersects this Forest Service road and walk upstream instead of downstream like we did yesterday. We were looking at the map last night and realized the spot where we ended up was pretty close to some private land. We weren't on private land by any means, but if we were to continue downstream to the Cheyenne, we'd have to hop up out of the creek for a while. And that's where we were having all of our luck, so it just doesn't really make sense to do so. But got Nick along today as he stops to look at something. And Evan went home for this trip. We'll see what we can find today. It's on the side. Nick just found this. Looks like some kind of big, like the tail end of a clamshell fossil.
Pretty gnarly.
What do you think?
I don't know.
It's
Better
a
than
big rock.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. Weirder stuff than yesterday. So take that as a good sign. There's a lot of this.
You guys could see how we end up walking for a while and then having to go real slow because this is a huge gravel bar. Alright, Nick just stumbled on this guy. If I could find it right there. Can you pluck that guy?
Yeah, let's get it out.
Whew. If it isn't a burn, it's a really nice lace.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Wash it off and see.
Well, we've come up this side wash of the creek that I've wanted to explore for a while, a little ways. It is gorgeous up here. We've come up and I think we have found kind of what I've seen referred to as the band, which is where all the rocks are eroding out of the Badlands formations in here. And check this guy out. There's a huge concretion in this wash. Sometimes these can have fossils or other things in them. Well, we found a spot to take a break in some shade. We might honestly be done for the day. We haven't seen many signs kind of since that side canyon that we went up. And it's much warmer today. And after having some success yesterday, we're just kind of not feeling the need to push it super hard. So we may hike out of here a bit early. And if that is the case, I'll probably combine clips from this video and yesterday's hunt into one video on IC. So you can kind of see some of the scenery on a nice day and not just us in the fog looking for rocks. But yeah. I did find a couple really nice clam shells I'll have to show you guys when we get back to the shop. And I guess I'll update you if anything interesting happens. Well, we are back here in the shop, back in Nebraska. It's been probably about a month at this point since that trip out to Indian Creek. And I just figured I would show you guys some of my finds. So we will grab some water so we can wet these guys down. And I'll show you a few rocks I picked up on this trip. Alrighty, so first up, and probably the reason a lot of people will watch this video, I'll show you my Fairburn that I found. So that side, if you remember earlier, was kind of exposed in the mud there. And I can see that window leading down into here, and then the whole end of that rock kind of has a quartz pocket with fortifications. And that rolls over to this side here. Has that really cool window with a bunch of fortifications, and you can see like that frog skin texture there, and in that orange over here. One thing that's super cool about this is it seems like everywhere you look on this rock there are signs. So even like in these little areas by my thumb there, you can see a little fortifications. The tail end of that guy, I'll flip it over. You've got that whole pocket on that side. And as much as I would love to cut this kind of cap is just host rock there. I don't know if it's solid or not, and it's such a big Fairburn, easily the best example that I've found. I don't think I could do anything to it. It's also super cool how you could see the agate is harder than the chert, and it's kind of eroded away to where the agate sticks up, but the chert's been eroded just from sitting in that creek for so long. So that is a super cool rock, easily the best Fairburn agate I've ever found. And obviously we found a couple of other Fairburns in the video. Those belong to my friends, so I do not have them here, but I showed us finding them. Next, I figured I'd show you guys a couple lace agates I found. I showed one of these on video as well, Nick pulling one. They're so deceptive. Sometimes they really make you think Fairburn, but they're just not quite as defined. You can see it's kind of that black and white host, and then we have a little fortification window there in the middle, and then this one here where it's kind of this end of this rock, and it's got a bunch of eyes and almost some botryoidal stuff under there. You could see by my thumb that you could see through that clear stuff. And again, it's got banding, but it's just not the same as that really defined holly leaf concentric banding that you see on the Fairburn agates, but they're still really neat rocks when you find good ones. Next up, we'll talk about some scenic black agates, and these are only kind of found in that part of the world, in the area of scenic South Dakota there, and specifically Indian Creek. Their host kind of just looks like normal Badlands rock, so you see that there, but then you flip it over and it's got this black agate. This one had some white botryoidal stuff and is clearly a piece of a much larger one that broke. So I did hold on to that, and then I did find a whole nodule here, and I think we're going to go ahead and cut this one on the trim saw. We like to say that these look like cookie dough, and I think I'm just going to trim that face there, see if we could expose any interesting details. You can kind of see maybe some banding there. Next up, I've got what I think was a bubblegum agate here. Almost got like a tiger stripe thing going on the husk. And then if you flip it over, we've got this clear, kind of mossy looking chalcedony in this black host. So again, another, I think, cutting candidate on the trim saw. Next up, I've got a couple rocks that I kind of found in that side drainage. So this here, to be honest, I'm not sure what to make of this because the texture does not feel right to really be chert. But there's clearly some veins of agate in there. It almost feels like it's like, I don't know, shale or something. But just got a lot of cool signs on the husk and in the kind of cracks and crevices there. All throughout that rock, you can see there's kind of that clear gray chalcedony. So we may cut that one and see what it's hiding on the inside. Then I've got a couple of finds from when we walked up that side drainage. So these are actually shell imprints. You could see some chunks of another shell sticking out of that. But then on the top, there's still a little bit of that lake shell nacre left. You could see the ribs from that big clam shell. And this big boy is awesome. I'm not going to wet this one, but man, really well defined. You can see some of the shell sticking out up there by my pointer finger, and there's some calcite in there, so that should be pretty well preserved. You can see the other half of the shell there. And I don't really have tools to prep fossils, but hopefully if I get some at that point, I can work on this. But until then, it's just kind of a cool little display piece. Next, I've got a couple prairie agates here, and those were found kind of up in that side creek area as well. That big black and white one I definitely found on camera, so we'll show that one first. Just some really cool banding in there. High contrast, black and white. See, there's some quartz or some chalcedony on this side. It's pretty see-through. And there's maybe some like yellow mossy like stuff in there. That could be a pretty cool cutter in the bigger saw. Then I've got this one here, just some kind of different colors. Some like red, pink, orange almost. And it's just really swirly, and then got this crazy texture on the bottom, different layers. Probably leave that one alone, but it's a neat piece. Pretty decent one here. That's kind of one of those yellow, red, and clear. Just a real stereotypical prairie agate that we would find. You could see it was kind of sitting in that shaly mud that's up in that creek. Last up, I've got a couple of rocks I found on the road walking down in there, and I think these are from a quarry in that area. But this is a super nice fan coral. That's kind of mineralized or agatized. Might have to change up the lighting here so you can see, but there's a ton of cell preservation on the top of this thing. There's a ton of cell preservation in this. You can see on that top side. Super cool. And then the fan-like patterns on the outside. Super nice piece. And last up from the road, I have a few pieces of feldspar with what I think are quartz crystals in there. And the reason I picked these up is sometimes you could find pieces where if that grain is correct, it makes almost, I don't know if this is the right term, this is just what I've seen it called, but graphic granite. Where it's got some like geometric patterns, and they just make really cool cabs. So we're gonna slab a couple of these guys. Kind of see that pattern and that shine there. This one almost appears to have some like tourmaline. You can see that really nice. This is probably the one that has the most potential to be that graphic granite, in my opinion. I'll show you one last little white piece here that kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about. That right there. This kind of geometric patterns within the feldspar makes for really cool cabs. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but that has some crazy dark like water lines and banding in there. I'm almost tempted to cut a little slab off this guy and see if it's see-through or not. I might do that. So again, I'm not sure how well you could see that, but there's water lines and fortifications in there, and they're just black. I've never seen one like that before. I wonder if it's going to lighten up now that it's being oxidized at all. Super interesting. All right, next up, I'm going to cut this guy here, and I'm just going to go kind of right along this side of this rock and see what lies within there. Not really at all what I expected to find. Almost like some iron or something. And last but definitely not least on the trim saw, we'll go ahead and cut this bubblegum agate. Next up, I think we'll go ahead and load this prairie agate here. And I think I'm just gonna clamp it like that. Try to get a couple slabs. There is kind of a crack there. It looks like it's fused together down here, but they may break in there. We'll see what happens. All right, so that first rock is done. Looks pretty similar to the husk there. Pretty cool stuff. And as you can see, we have a lot of that rock left if we did want to cut some slabs. For now, I'm going to leave it alone. And I think next I'm going to go ahead and load in this piece of feldspar like that, and we're going to cut along here. I can see kind of the end of the section right there. Alright, so that piece is done cutting. There's the rest of our rock. We have quite a bit of that left if we want to cut more, and it is getting into the good pattern. Especially right up there at that top right section. This is my little end cut piece. And we've got one complete slab. And another slab that broke, but it broke in a good spot. I think I can still get a cab there. And there. I think we'll cut another one of those next here. Probably this one here. Alright, that next one is done. There's the end cut piece there. Then we got this first slab. There's another slab. That is super cool. There's the rest of that rock still. And I think last, we're just gonna kind of carve that face, make it flat, and we will polish that. Try to show all those coral details. Alright, that piece of coral is done. We'll go ahead and polish that, and that'll be a really cool specimen piece. So there's what that coral looks like all polished up. If I get you closer there, you can see all those cells that it brought out. And the cool thing about it, it'll kind of stand on its own, and you can see that texture on that side and that face. It's really cool. Well guys, that's going to do it for this one. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And one note probably to make is this video is going to make it seem way easier to find a Fairburn than it actually is. In a couple, a few years of hunting now, this is the first trip I've ever been on where multiple people found really nice Fairburns on the same day. I don't know if it was the rain or just getting out to somewhere where a lot of people don't go. I would suspect both of those things played a role and helped us find some really cool rocks in this video. So again, hope you guys enjoyed. Join the channel if you want to see some lapidary videos we have coming up. It snowed here, so rock hounding is kind of done until it warms up a little bit. But we'll be working on some rocks here in the shop, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.